Hi there, welcome. Thank you for joining us today for this WiCyS webinar series. We're so happy to have Martha and Bob here from the Smooth Stack. They're a strategic partner of ours, and they're going to be talking about the WiCyS Veterans Apprenticeship Program. So my name is Lynn Dome, Women in Cybersecurity Executive Director. We often go by our acronym WiCyS, W-I-C-Y-S, as in We Sisters, because that's exactly what we are. We're a cyber sisterhood. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here and just do a little bit of an intro to the WiCyS organization. Oh my gosh, it always brings me over here. Okay, we'll hit play from the start. Can you see my screen okay?
Yes.
All right, great. So there I am. And so the WiCyS community is consists of women, male allies, and advocates, all with a strong mission and passion to recruit, retain, and advance women in cybersecurity. We have over 5,000 members with representation in 69 countries. We have 38 professional affiliates from Africa, Australia, Canada, France, India, Pakistan, the UK, and the United States, and 129 student chapters in Canada, India, Nigeria, Costa Rica, Puerto Rico, and the United States. And how our mission is to recruit, retain, and advance women in cybersecurity, we do so by providing opportunities. And so we have this virtual and in-person career fairs. We had one last week. We hope some of the folks that are on the call were able to attend that. If not, you're in luck because we have more coming up in the future. We have a beautiful online member forum where over our 5,000 members connect and network and collaborate to get that forum. We have special interest groups where everyone could connect on different areas of topics such as data privacy or cybersecurity law. We have Latinas in cybersecurity, neurodiversity in cybersecurity. So you find your special interest group within the member forum, or if you can't find one, you could go ahead and launch your own. We have many different skill development training programs, such as the SANS Security Training Scholarship made possible by Google, the AWS Learning Series, made possible by AWS, and then we had gamified cybersecurity challenges made possible by Target, and that was within partnership of ICMCP, and many, many more in the pipeline for 2021. We have newsletters, webinar series, scholarship grants and awards. Our annual conference is September 8th through the 10th this year in Denver, Colorado. So we encourage you to go to our website. It's WiCyS.org, go under events, and look at our WiCyS 2021 conference. We have the Cyber Talent Emergency Fund that's created for students that are in their cybersecurity in their academic pathway, and if they need emergency funding, they have the ability to be able to apply for that funding and receive up to $599 within 48 hours. We have many different speaking and media opportunities. Our Job Board Plus Plus is a place where our strategic partners recruit from year-round, and our members can update their profiles and upload their resumes. We participate in market research. We have a leadership summit. We have a leadership series, a wonderful veterans assistance program, military spouse assistance program, and that today you're going to be hearing about our veterans apprenticeship program. On our website, you'll also find a speakers directory and information about our mentor-mentee program. So we launched a 12-month structured framework. It's a curriculum for our mentor-mentees. We have 707 mentees, 185 mentors in the cohort sessions, and applications for the 2021 cohorts will be opening up in August. And it's a 12-month structured framework designed to upskill and up-level women no matter where they're at in their careers, in their cybersecurity careers, to prepare for them for that next level of advancement. We also have our racial equity committee, and we have those 38 professional affiliates and 129 student chapters. And we owe all this thanks to our strategic partners, AWS, Bloomberg, Carnegie Mellon, Cisco, Facebook, Lockheed Martin, Microsoft, Optum, Google, Nike, Sentinel, One, Workday, Federal Reserve Bank of New York, Flatiron, Fortinet here, Home Depot, IBM, Oak Ridge National Lab, Palo Alto, SANS Institute, SAP, SpearTip, Starbucks, Target, University of California, San Diego, Verizon, and our newest strategic partner that's not yet on this image yet, which is Smooth Stack, who is doing this presentation today. So before we go ahead and get started, I'd like to encourage everyone to ask lots of questions. This is your opportunity. We are so excited. It took us a year and a half to get here, to get to this point where WiCyS is offering this Veterans Apprenticeship Program. We're partnering with Smooth Stack, that's DOL-certified, and they're going to answer all your questions about the applications, about the program, what it looks like, and everything that you might need you could get from this webinar. So please take advantage of the bottom of your screen. There's like a chat functionality for you to ask those questions. So in addition to that, we'd love for you to grow with us. Subscribe to our newsletter, become a member of the WiCyS organization, join us on other different webinars, and become really actively involved in this completely thriving community that's growing and learning together. And so you'll find us on all different social media channels, on Facebook, Facebook group, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and you could also search for Martha and myself on LinkedIn and go from there. So without further ado, now I have the sun. Oh, the sun wasn't out before I started this. It's been raining all day, so I don't have the blinds closed. I'll go ahead and close the blinds, which doesn't make it much better. But without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and hand the webinar over to Martha and Bob, and they will take the conversation over from here. Oh, you're muted, Martha.
That's probably best. I was just going to say a quick hello, then pass it off to my coworker, Bob. Hi, I'm Martha Loftman. I just want to say how honored we are to be a part of the WiCyS community and this program with Lynn and everyone in WiCyS. Lynn and I have been working, and everyone have been working really hard at this for, I don't know, 6-9 months. And I am a big fan of doing, not necessarily talking about things. And the strategic partnership that is a part of the WiCyS community is exactly all about that. I've never seen a group of employers so quick to come to the table, come together, and offer legitimate jobs and opportunities for women veterans. And it almost could make me cry. I just think it's like so inspirational, and I'm so excited to be a part of this. And thank you for everyone who's already applied or who is interested. And it's because of all of you, both the employers and because of all the interest from the women vets that, we're able to offer this and hopefully to keep growing. So thank you so much. And my coworker, Bob, is going to handle our presentation. Bob?
Thank you very much, Martha. I appreciate that. And thank you, Lynn, as well. And thank everyone on the call today for joining and for your service. And you're all getting exposed to a wonderful organization like WiCyS, and it's a matter of having this platform out there that is just to promote you and giving you an additional network. And I've had a lot of conversations with a lot of you on this call today, and it's been eye-opening for me, not to bring me to tears, but almost, Martha, where I've kind of had great, meaningful conversations with amazing people. And a lot of you may not have heard of WiCyS prior, and now you've said you've looked into them and are now a member. So again, your network is your net worth, and I've heard this a lot, and it's a network there to support you, and there's that's definitely one to get involved in. So thanks so much for joining. And again, I want to just kind of briefly go over a Smooth Stack a little bit so you have an idea of what we're all about and why we're here. And I think Martha will stick by with us a little bit in case there's any questions as well. But I want to go into just a little bit to my background. I come from a staffing background, so I've been able to kind of see a little bit of how this industry is brutal to break into, regardless of where you are in the industry. So in my staffing days, I recruited a little bit more for senior roles and kind of mid-level technical jobs, and saw firsthand employers asking for everything under the sun for positions. So I could go back one more slide. We could stay here for a little bit. So everything under the sun. Right now, we're talking a little bit about breaking into the field a little bit, and some of the barriers that are going on. We're going to go into kind of how we help in our model, and then we're going to talk about the apprenticeship, obviously, and some benefit and outcomes, and then the program itself, and then we'll get to questions. But, so ultimately what we're doing in this industry, we're trying to bulldoze or demolish the way companies are hiring right now out there. It's just a broken system, whether you're recruiting companies are recruiting for senior level or mid-level or entry level. We've seen, a ton of outlandish minimum requirements when it comes to jobs, and I saw it on all levels. But since I've been brought into SmoothStack, I was kind of really intrigued by their model and how they hire. And that's gotten me to kind of really reflect, and it makes me really, truly happy to work for a company like SmoothStack, because they're not really, they understand one major thing is that companies, the one thing that they're not understanding is it's the skills that really matter most when it comes to the tech field, and not necessarily those years of experience or the certifications that they're asking for, or all of this experience with a certain technology, or having all of these degrees. These are things that companies are asking for, but they're kind of shooting themselves in the foot. And as soon as they start to work with us, they understand that. We're trying to get these companies to understand that it is the skills that matter. However, right now, companies are asking for all of these requirements, and these degrees. And unfortunately, what's happening is a lot of people are falling from the field, right? And they're falling to either underemployment or they're falling outside of the field. So I don't know if any of you can identify with that, but it's really frustrating when you feel kind of ready, and you feel like it's your time to jump into this field, and you're getting, you don't even meet the minimum requirements for an entry-level job because it says 2.5 to 3 years of experience, plus this and this certification, and and that's kind of frustrating. And ultimately, people jump into the job market to look for a job, and they're very optimistic, and they're all into it. After a month or two, and they're not getting anywhere, they're not hearing from companies, and this is all across the industry, regardless of where you are in tech. You start to, human nature kicks in, and everyone's, economic situations are very different, and reality starts to kick in, and that's when you start thinking about taking a job maybe in the field that's maybe not necessarily what you were aiming for when you started this job search, or you're falling outside of the field, which is a big struggle as well, when you're working at a job outside of the field 40 hours a week, and then continuing your search to try to find employment in the tech field, and also trying to stay up to date with all of the skills that you've acquired, and that's where it comes down to it. A lot of people are taking contract jobs, and they're in the job, they're all excited, and then it ends, and then they're back to square one again, and then they're back on all of the Indeeds, the Glassdoors, and they feel like they were just there. So inevitably people are kind of falling out of the field, and it's a problem, and that's ultimately where SmoothStack tries to come in and fill that gap, and that void. So SmoothStack, as I said, the model is we basically hire those that we don't really worry about what you don't know or what you don't really have. We want to get you the skills that you need before you start in that job. So, we hire those that are able to show that they have been able to meet our aptitude, and then we're able to work with those and get you the skills that you need for the job, the specific job that we hired you for. So, we understand we're going to get you the exact tech stack, the technology that you're going to need to know. We're going to get you the exact skills that you're going to need to know. for that job that you're about to step into. So that allows you to feel really confident stepping into your job. It's also going to allow you to, it's going to feel really warm to you. I always say it's like jumping and swimming in the Gulf of Mexico as opposed to diving off the coast of Maine into the water. It's designed to be that way. And that is because we want to get you the skills that you need before you start and what's most important to our partnering company. So inevitably, it's like getting the answers to the test before you start, because ultimately, you know, what you're going to be evaluated on when you start in that job is your technical ability in that job. So, you know, our mission is to create pathways for a diverse talent to join the IT workforce. And the way we do it is we career-focused IT apprenticeships generating tomorrow's leaders. So, you know, ultimately, that is what we're doing. We're looking to work with the underrepresented in the field. We're looking to eliminate all biases that happen with companies, and sometimes this happens unknowingly, but we want to work with those that meet our aptitude. But we also want to work with those that are underrepresented in the tech field. And we're here for cyber today, and I'm so excited because this is awesome. Cyber, I mean, you cannot turn on the news and not see a cyber threat or something out there with cyber. I mean, this is an unbelievable pathway to go. Everyone is here for a reason. But in all aspects of technology, we recruit for entry-level developers, Microsoft Dynamic engineers, administrators, and other IT positions as well. So it's not just the cyber world, but we're looking to work with women, underrepresented women. We're looking for veterans, military spouses, and those maybe economically at a disadvantage. Maybe they weren't able to afford to be sent to a 4-year school, or went through a boot camp, or actually came from an untraditional pathway where they were able to obtain a lot of knowledge, being self-taught on their own. We're willing to work with everybody as long as they're able to meet our aptitude. And we work with organizations like WiCyS in Women in Technology, and all sorts of military installations, in other channel partners to help us build in this initiative to boost that underrepresented in the field. So we talked a lot about these challenges. I mentioned them. We didn't talk a lot about them. I mentioned these challenges here that job seekers are facing out there. And how this is a slide that talks about kind of like how we are handling that and dealing when we're talking to our partnering companies. And oftentimes our partnering companies are tough. It's a tough sell. They come to us and they want to have you to have all the stuff that we're fighting against, right? 2 years of experience, this certification, that certification, this degree. And we talk to them, and eventually we bring them down to our level so they understand it, so they see what comes out of our program. And when they start in the job, they don't question it anymore. We've had repeat companies come back and work with us, and they just say, do your thing. And that's what we want, right? But there are some challenges out there when we talk to them. So one of the job seeker challenges is lack of education. So, we recruit for talent, not degrees. We don't put a lot of emphasis on pedigree. Like I said earlier, like education, experience, resume, it's not about that to us. We want people who are able to kind of have a high aptitude to learning. And we want those that are able to show that they can meet our aptitude and kind of obtain information and learn. And we don't care how you got there. So that is super important for us. And so we pave the way for recruits regardless of their previous education. The lack of experience through the rigorous training and the project-based work that you do within our apprenticeship program, it is intense. And the employers that we work with, our partners, have said that what our people are doing outside of this 12 to, it's kind of a upskilling period that we do, this intense training, what you guys are doing in that first week on the job. Entry-level folks that they've hired about a year and a half ago haven't even started doing yet. So they're seeing the benefit of the focused kind of instruction along with the mentorship that we provide. So the experience happens. It's a very much a simulated environment in that training. And so you're going to get a good idea of what it's going to be like in the job. And that's how we get it to feel very warm for you when you step foot into that job. You're going to have that great understanding of what is the collaboration is going to be like, what's the pacing going to be like, and that's important. What type of projects you're going to be working on? Is it defense? Is it offense? What software are you going to be working in? We want to get you exposed to that, so that way when you start, you're adding value day one, and companies are noticing that. Our partners are really noticing that. Lack of certification. SmoothStack tailors the program to kind of the employer's specific needs. So I mentioned that a little bit, but like we talk to all of our employers, our partners, and we find out what they're looking for and what they want entry-level folks to have that are coming in for this role or those specific roles that we're recruiting for. And we are going to go and get that for you. So a lot of employers are moving away from the certifications, but wanting to see that that So SmoothStack removes the certification kind of barrier, but we do provide you with the knowledge. That is kind of one of our ways around that. And then, like I said earlier, network is net worth. And, a lot of times when people are trying to get into jobs and they're right out of, a program or school or what have you, they don't have the network to kind of help themselves move into a position. And that's why organizations like WiCyS is so important. And that's why expanding your network to outside of what your local connections are. You need to kind of work your way out. And with SmoothStack, we are able to do that. You not only will have, now you'll have, women in cybersecurity, but you'll also have SmoothStack and that partnering company as well. So the network that you create for yourself, there's a lot of network industry professionals that you'll be working with throughout this apprenticeship program. So that is a huge thing right there. Just to talk a little bit more about this process that we're going through, and I know I've had a lot of conversations with a lot of you, and I know that some of you are on my calendar, and I'm looking forward to speaking with you. And that's for me to give you a little bit of well, if you've been on this call, I'll just answer any questions that you have about this, about us and this apprenticeship, but also to get a little bit of information from you as well. And then the second step in the process is to have a conversation with Martha. And Martha is our cyber guru and our workforce director. And she is the reason why we're all here today, along with Lynn. So she is a driving force and super passionate. And the fact that she's chatting with you is showing her passion for what this mission is all about. So she's going to have a brief conversation with you. I mean, brief. And then we're going to get you out a cyber assessment that we're going to start sending. And Martha can correct me if I'm wrong with this, but I think we're going to be getting to that by the end of this week, if not first thing next week. For those that have gone through these two steps, that will probably be sending that out to you to take. And then there'll be a technical, a final interview with a technical lead, someone on our team that will ask you some just technical questions. And then you're entering into what is called our engagement period. And our engagement period is ultimately the true test there. Ultimately, we want to bring you into our program and say, like, look, you've gotten through our cyber assessment. You've gotten through our final interview with our technical lead. We feel really strongly about your candidacy. moving forward, we'd like to invite you to join us for this apprenticeship. And ultimately, it is a kind of like it's a pre-employment free 14-day training, and it's focused on Linux and it's focused on Net Plus. Now, again, we're working this angle in here, obviously, because it's perfect to get you the Net Plus knowledge, but it's also perfect at the same time. So, we're able to kind of see what type of collaborator you are, how you're able to kind of pick up information and retain it and apply it. This is something that we want to be able to kind of evaluate in you as well. And to make sure, and at the same time, you're dipping your toes in the water of Smooth Stack, and you're able to get a good idea of like what type of apprenticeship that we're running and what type of training you're going to receive. And at the end of that, ultimately, that's when we will welcome you to the apprenticeship training program officially, where we are hiring you on. And we'll giving you an offer, hiring you on, and paying you it's an earn while you learn apprenticeship. So that's when you'll start learning. So that's kind of the process that we go through to get to that point. And as you can see here, we want to open up our funnel to bring in as many people as possible, and we want to find that untapped tech talent, and that's why we have that many stages there. So this is a great slide to just show you a little bit more about what we do. We're nurturing, we are training, and we start careers, right? So we're here to kickstart careers. And so we're hiring those that meet our aptitude, watering you, as you can see, and we are getting you on the job training. And that is through a 12 to 14 week upskilling portion of the apprenticeship. It's actually where you are an apprentice, and with an apprentice, you are actually learning the job that you're about to step foot into. There's a multitude of companies that are doing this right now. They have huge pockets and they're able to do this, but they're hiring people and basically doing this model and basically hiring people for the job and training you where you're an apprentice actually learning the job before you step foot into that job and giving you ample training. But not all companies are able to do that. They don't have the deep pockets to do that. So they work with companies like us to help them with this initiative. They understand that developing their entry level and junior level and actually all level is beneficial for their organization. So we feel like this model is the model of the future. So you're in this 12 to 14 week apprenticeship program where you're diving in the deep end of the industry that you're so passionate about. You're learning everything that you need to know within that job and getting that knowledge, and then also learning any types of software and things like that. Again, providing value from day one, so when you step in that job, you're going to be able to hit the ground running once you step in that job. During this time, we are paying you, so it's an earn while you learn apprenticeship. So instead of you going out and getting more certifications, or instead of you going out and looking for some cyber boot camp that can give you something else, or going to take another college course or something like that, instead of you spending money to actually get training, the cool and awesome thing about this apprenticeship is that we are going to compensate you during this apprenticeship. We want to pay you. So your job is to dive in the deep end of this industry and to basically make it to learn everything and develop yourself and get the skills that you need to step foot into that job, which is really cool. So that's your focus. During this period of time, it's not anything to write home about pay, but it is an hourly rate of pay based upon the state that you live in. So ultimately, this is 12 to 14 weeks is a remote opportunity, remote learning. So you're going to want to, basically, it's the state that you live in. The minimum wage laws of that state times 40 is going to be what will compensate you during that training. But again, if on the flip side, you're not paying out of pocket, we're getting you that training. And that allows us to bring in more people into our funnel so we can search for that untapped tech talent. But once you're done with that training, you go from hourly to salary, all right? You step foot into that job, you're adding value on day one with that partnering company. So that is, once you step foot into that partnering company, you're going to feel very much like you work for that partnering company. In this circumstance, with this apprenticeship, as I mentioned to some of you, we have 2 employers that are kind of leading the way with this this apprenticeship, this cyber. We have Centennial One and Bloomberg, and a lot of others that are interested. But so once you were done here, you would step foot into the job that we hired you for. And then you'll work in that job and basically getting real world experience, applying everything that you learned during that upskilling, that apprenticeship, that last mile of education. So once you're basically, the salary is, you go from hourly to salary, and your first year salary is $55K, and then it's an automatic built-in for year 2 to jump to $65K. It may be a little different based on jobs, depending upon the position, but that is what that is the guaranteed model there. And this is you're designed to step into this role and stay with us for 2 years for a few reasons. One, if we're looking at this for military terms, we'll say that this is on-the-job training is ultimately where you're in boot camp and then you're deployed out into the field for 2 years of on-the-job experience with one of those companies. Instead of being deployed to Afghanistan, you're deployed to one of those companies where you're getting that experience. And it's for 2 reasons that we want you to stay with us for 2 years. Longevity and job security, and getting your feet fully submerged in the industry's water is important, especially in your first job as well. So it's nice to have that there. The other reason is ultimately we want a commitment for our partnering companies, and also when we invest and hire each and every one of you, we spend a lot. We invest a lot in like the recruitment process, the proprietary screenings that we do. Then we're hiring people, and then we're placing you, and then we're giving you time and developing you and getting you trained and hiring trainers. And then we're going to compensate you during this time as well, during that 12 to 14 weeks. So not only that, we've paved the way for you to work for the employer, and then we're going to mentor and support you throughout your time in the job as well. So ultimately, the way it works, our business model is we pay all upfront costs. And those partnering companies that you end up working for pay the back end, and you pay nothing. So that is kind of like every week that you start working in that job, once you're done with that apprenticeship, we slowly but surely start to earn that investment back. And so with that being said, it is about a year mark that we gain our investment back, and then it's year 2 that we're able to kind of actually turn a profit and continue to do the mission that we're doing. After 2 years, though, the ball really falls in your court. It's where you really leap forward. So after 2 years, we want you to have as many options as possible. One of those options is that you will probably get an 87% conversion rate are from those that go and work for a company. That company presents an offer, and that offer is accepted 87% of the time, which is pretty crazy. So that's a pretty good option right there. They've seen a 2-year sample size of what you can do. And they're definitely excited and biting at the chomp to take you away from SmoothStack. During this time, you're working the 2 years, you're a SmoothStack employee, getting your benefits from us, medical, dental, vision, all that stuff, your salary, your 401k and match, and we're mentoring and coaching you, and the development doesn't end. But after that, they can come in and take you away from us, and that happens, as I said, about 87% of the time. And then the other option is that you will actually, we would want you to stay with us as long as you want to, whether it's working with that company or another company, one of our other partners. If you decide you want to keep everything the same, you like our mentorship and support, then we're able to kind of keep you on and work with us. So And usually our rate will come in that third year, anywhere between 95 to 115. So that's really like the big jump year after 2 years of kind of getting your feet wet in industry waters. And then the third option is, and I always recommend this option to everyone, after 22 months of your deployment, let's just say, with let's just say it's Centennial 1, like after 22 months working there, you can start pushing your profile, getting your resume out there. Now you have whatever background you have before you join this apprenticeship, whatever you have on your resume now, for instance, plus that 12 to 14 weeks, plus 2 years in the experience, your resume is going to look a whole lot different out there, and it's time to fish with it and use all your experience as the bait and see what you get. If you get a job that's great and you love it and it's perfect and it's in a geographic area that you are absolutely thrilled about, or it's still remote, then that's great. If you get offers that are kind of like it's offering you something that's kind of more on the lines of being underemployed, not really doing, then you don't have to take that offer because you have 2 other offers waiting for you on the other side. So, but it's always good to test the market to kind of see. And if you can get something, great. And if not, you have backup, right? So we're based out of Northern Virginia, and right now, a lot of these opportunities in the cyber side are remote. So if you need to be remote, that's okay. If you're open to relocation, definitely let us know. It is definitely going to open the doors up a little bit more for you. Some of the positions are looking for that, but not all. If you need to be remote, that's totally fine. That's a little bit more about the process of what we go through, the benefits of us that we provide. Obviously, insurance, health, medical, dental, vision, short-term, long-term, life, 401k, kind of with a match down here, as you can see. And this is what you would get in the apprenticeship. The first of the month after 30 days. All of our trainers are experts out in the field, working in the field, because this industry is moving so fast and constantly changing, and the skills in demand are changing so frequently. This is a big benefit to have all like the people that are training smooth stackers in that apprenticeship are coming bringing relevant information. So that's great to have somebody on board that's out there and training you, that's getting you that relevant information. We are, as Lynn said, a Department of Labor registered apprenticeship program. And as I mentioned, we offer industry certifications if it's needed, and we do tuition reimbursement assistance as well. And as I mentioned, relocation is not necessary, but if you're open to it, and I've talked to a bunch of you, and a bunch of you are, and we offer relocation assistance. We offer advancements for relocation, and we also offer a cost of a living adjustment as well. So if you have to relocate to an area that's a little bit more expensive than what you're used to, then we definitely don't want to leave you hanging there. We account for that, and we give you anywhere between $250 additional per month to $500, depending upon the city or state or area that you relocate to. So, yeah, so that is it there. So some of the veteran openings that we're looking for here, SOC analysts, NOC analysts, penetration testers, incident responders, SRE, GRC. These are some of the opportunities, and all of you will fall obviously into these different ones. You can kind of let us know if you want to get directed towards one more than the other, but that's what we're looking for this particular apprenticeship. So the qualifications here, basic understanding of Linux, kind of having some Net Plus knowledge, able to kind of work that into an exam a little bit, able to legally work in the U.S., have the passion, the grit, the determination to succeed and be a part of cybersecurity in the tech field, and to love to learn. I mean, that's going to be huge. We prefer Sec Plus knowledge. and 2 years of related education training experience is also preferred as well. So those are some of the things that we're looking for. Here's a sample training. And ultimately, it's talking about days, going over some of this stuff. We talked a little bit about, that first period, engagement period, where you're going to learn some Linux and some Net Plus, and these are the days that you'll be spending on that. Why not, right? Why join? Why not join? So these are some things that we're going to these are some additional benefits. You're going to get a WiCyS membership paid for by SmoothStack. You're going to get the mentorship that comes along with them, and the conference invitation. The apprenticeship program, the Earn While You Learn. That kind of like, it's like spring training before your season starts, like if we're talking baseball, but as I said, it's like boot camp, getting all of the training and skills that you need before you get deployed out to the field. And it's not just any skills, it's a lot about its exact skills, right? So I always tell people, it's nice to go out and look for things to dress up your resume to get recruiters and employers' attention, but sometimes it's you're going out and spending the money, and then the person that wants to hire you isn't looking for that particular thing that you did to do that. So it's nice to actually get the exact skills that you're going to step into and that you're going to need to know. So, and then continued professional development. We guarantee the 2 years of employment with us, and we do offer that remote work location as well. So next steps, some of you have already done this, so feel free to just not. Some of you have not done this, so you can go to smoothstack.com and go and apply to that apprenticeship, that cyber job that's there. And as soon as you apply, it's going to send you an email saying to join a webinar. You do not have to join the webinar because you've attended this one. And those webinars are geared, it's a general webinar. It's not as specific as it is for this one. And then obviously we're going to go through that recruiter screening with myself and then with Martha, and then we'll get you through that process. And then you'll get started in that Linux training. It looks like right now our official start date, and I think, and Martha can correct me after, is that we're looking at a May 17th start date. I mentioned the companies that were involved. So we're going to get started with getting everyone through the process, but we're still having a lot of conversations as we go through. And we are looking to bring in a lot of people for this. So definitely throw your hat in the ring here for sure. And then the last step would be to officially start. That's the last slide, but I'm not. Oh, nope, it's not. So here is just some slide of people that have sat in your shoes at one point and one time, and are now on the other side of things. Really frustrated trying to get into the field, and are now out in the field working as a developer, an engineer, a network administrator. So these are people that are success stories in my mind, and are now professionals in the field. So yeah, so those are our most recent. So that's it on my end. We can turn it over to Martha if she's here, if she wants to add anything at the end of this, and then we can get to questions. And if you guys have questions, start to throw them in, and we'll get to those as well.
I am here. I think we should just jump right into questions and see what everyone has. Lynn, are you good with that?
Yeah, that's perfect. We could go ahead and end the slide presentation. Yep, perfect. Very good.
I will make one clarification though. SmoothStack is not purchasing WiCyS memberships. WiCyS is giving everyone a membership and assigning a mentor. And there's a whole lot of benefits to being a part of the Veterans Assistance Program at WiCyS. So if you are selected, you will be given a membership. If you're not selected, but you've heard of WiCyS through this, the memberships are not that much. I would highly recommend you just go on the website and join. If you can't join because the fee is a barrier, then please reach out to Lynn or myself and we'll see what we can do. Lynn, I don't want to overstep here. Do you have something?
No, that's perfect.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Yeah, my email is lynn@wicys.org. So LYNN@WICYS.org.
And you certainly don't have to be a part of the apprenticeship program to, get all these other benefits of mentorship and the job board and apply for this. So please join regardless, would be my pitch. But questions, it looks like, do we have some already up in here?
Yes.
Okay, so should I start reading them or are we picking and choosing what to answer?
No, I think you scroll down to the bottom. There's 12 of them there. So yeah, there's some more coming in. So
what type of job can Candice look forward to after completion of the apprenticeship? I would say that, we have 5 different position types that Bob went over that you could be assigned to during the on-the-job training portion of the apprenticeship. What I always like to say to novices coming in the industry is it really almost doesn't matter what you do. What matters most is that you get your foot in the door in the beginning. And then during your 2-year tenure here at the apprenticeship, you will be able to, try different positions, have different mentors, possibly do SANS training or different training. So you can, direct your education and training into the direction you want to be, and then both be opportunistic and strategic to take what happens. A lot of people, especially in cyber, you kind of get your foot in the door and then you specialize on the job and through training and opportunity. So after this, training is both going to be offensive and defensive, but mostly defensive. And then our positions, we only have one offensive position. All the rest are, SOC analyst, NOC analyst, incident responders. But even then, they have some elements of offensive cybersecurity too. So not really sure what you're looking for, but your next position could be all over the map. We do expect that most of these positions, year 3, so right when you finish from the apprenticeship, you should be expecting a 6-figure salary, and will definitely be very employable. SmoothStack can even offer you an employment position at that point. And we have a program to pay for your college at that, if you stay on with us. Okay, does that answer that? Yes.
Yes, market is complete.
Okay.
Are any more questions?
Of veterans eligible for this program? If you are a woman and a military spouse, absolutely, you qualify. Please apply. I would say we did not formally discuss anyone else other than veterans and as a priority, and then after that, military spouses being in the program. But, my thing is apply no matter what. It's a really easy application. You have to have a resume anyways. Upload your resume. At least then we have it. We're not going to drop anyone. If you don't meet exactly what it is we're looking for at the beginning, we don't get back to you right away. We will. We're just going to put all of those resumes, in queue, and we'll get back to you after we do the recruiting for this. And WiCyS will be reaching out to you too. So please apply. You never know.
Yeah, and I just will add that I think that this is just the starting point for us with the cyber program. So this is one, and we're going to, we'll have many more after this too. So
your comments resonate for many of my best, most motivated students. Okay, so I'm guessing that maybe that's a teacher that wrote that. If you're an instructor or a teacher or, a mentor, you've probably heard the same narrative that Lynn and I hear a lot of, which is it's really lonely to be out in an industry. You kind of feel like an island if sometimes you're the only female in a group. You may not be, feel like you have a seat at the table, you're part of the crowd, or you're part of the group, or all the doors are open up to you. So it can feel like a lonely journey. And I think, cyber is such an inclusive environment. A lot, that's my feeling, is that we're really inclusive, but we're not very diverse. And so this is our opportunity to bring in some diversity into what I would consider already a very inclusive bunch of individuals. So, stick with it, women. We are going to increase our numbers. We've doubled them in the past few years. Lynn was telling me the other day, from 9 to 20%.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We were forever at the 11% of women in the cybersecurity workforce. And then finally in 2019, IAC Squared and Cybersecurity Ventures both came out with the reports that we're roughly 20 to 24% in the workforce right now. So in the cybersecurity workforce. So we're getting there. But the WiCyS work is not done yet. And we're definitely have a lot more work to do. And that's why we're super excited about transitioning veterans' military career experience into these cybersecurity careers. So.
I have one question here about your transitioning in June. I would say go ahead and apply to this program. If it doesn't work, we can put you in queue and reach back out to you. However, we do have access to some Skill Bridge programs, so we might be able to work that and get you in through Skill Bridge. We're not advertising that at this point just because we have so many veterans that are interested, but we do have Skill Bridge in Virginia, possibly Maryland, and a few other locations that we could partner and maybe get you in that way. So I would say apply, and how exciting that you're transitioning. Hopefully you're excited. If you ever want to talk through that, huge community on LinkedIn, including us. So let us know if you need anything. Is this apprenticeship only for veterans? So the Smooth Stack company does apprenticeships, and not only for veterans, but this program is through VAP, the Veterans Assistance Program, in partnership with WiCyS. And so, yes, we are looking for veterans, women veterans, and we're, a few spouses. But we are veteran focused right now for this. If you're not a veteran, again, apply. We're not excluding anyone. We're just trying to really promote and be inclusive of veterans. And I hope that didn't sound like I was talking around a circle. Everyone apply. How does it work if you already have a Net Plus or similar cert? Well, that would be great if you had a Net Plus, because we don't actually teach network plussing in this. We are hoping everyone comes with some kind of Linux and the ability to, at a minimum, pass a practice exam for the Net Plus. So, we're gonna, and even some Security Plus. So you definitely have to have Net Plus down, and you should have a little bit of Security Plus and Linux Plus, because we're gonna not go over Net Plus. We might do like a one-day review. Linux Plus, we're gonna go over in 2 weeks, which is very, very quick. And Security Plus, we're gonna go over 1 week, which is very, very quick. We're starting off with the Linux Plus and the Security Plus. So if you don't already have some of that in your pocket already, it's going to be really difficult, and you'll probably would be cut at that point. That's kind of the only point in the program where we're going to have cuts, is that after that first 2 week, I call it Hell Week, which may not be an appropriate term. Hopefully it's fun, but it's definitely going to be a fire hose. So I've been telling everyone, hopefully you already have Network Plus down. Practice those practice exams, and then cram for some Linux and Security Plus, and you will be fine. What does the cyber assessment entail? Okay. Lynn, did you take it?
No, not yet. No.
Okay, I'm going to send it to Lynn.
For the next webinar, I'll share it to everyone. So join us on the 20th at 5 p.m. and I'll give you my assessment of the assessment.
We will share your results live. It's about a 45-minute battery. It's called CATA. It's the cyber operator assessment that the Air Force uses. It's really fun. It's stuff like looking for anomalies and patterns, number logic and reasoning, decision making, that kind of stuff. So the one example I always like to use is imagine there's a dot on a piece of paper, and now you have to mentally fold that paper in different ways. Where is the dot now? Like, what quadrant does it land in? And so fun things like that. Women tend to do well in these assessments. Veterans tend to do well in these assessments. You can't practice for it. It's complete aptitude. So, that's my industry is assessments. We lie to people all the time about assessments and we say it's aptitude, but it's not. This really is an aptitude test. So you will have fun with it. The way that it works is you'll get an email from our partnering company, which is called Haystack, not to be confused with Smoothstack, and they will invite you to take the assessment. So that comes after we talk to you. How long is the training? Well, I believe, are looking at around a 15-week training. That could be give or take. And the reason why I say that is because it's going to depend a little bit on what you're coming into with the training, and then also which of the job categories and employer partners you're being paired with. So I think, Bob, did you show the slide of the samples of training? And so I think that's around 15 weeks. But, I built into 2 weeks in there for, certifications and if you have to specialize in something, but give or take. I'm piling through these. Lynn, do you want to take a few?
No, I think you're doing great. Carry on, my friend.
Good one, Martha.
Boy, thank you.
You're on a roll. So.
Would I be able to do this between my junior and senior year of college? No, it's a full-time job. For the training is full-time, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, plus study time. And then the job is full-time too. So during the training portion, it's really, really difficult to do anything part-time or study for anything else. During the on-the-job experience for 2 years, absolutely. We have people that will do professional development or go to school part-time. We offer that to you too. So maybe you just do less of that and more of what you're doing. But, we don't have a summer program that you can come back to. But when you're through college, apply to us. And I never want to derail people from getting a degree. So if you're not in a college program, we would love to have you come to us and then go to college. If you are in a college program, please finish it and then come to us. So for some reason, there's this narrative out there that there's this competition between skill-based training and formal education. And I'm a big fan of both. It's when it's ready for you and your situation, that's what's best. Any comments on that, Lynn?
No. That's great.
Okay. What are your locations for in-person training? We don't do in-person training. So the beginning part right now is going to be all virtual. We used to have a training site in Fairfax in Virginia, and then we'd fly people out to, and we'd put you up in this amazing, cute little apartment right across from the training facility. We no longer do that. Something happened called COVID, and we've gone to virtual training. So as Bob mentioned, we do have a couple positions in New York City. So if anyone's interested in moving to New York, please let us know. Otherwise, all the rest of the positions for this are remote and would stay that way for the 2 years. What is the best next step for my capable, motivated veteran students? Should they contact Smoothstack through the website? Can I curate for them the strongest students and arrange a small webinar? Yes. So Bob, if you want to throw in chat your direct email for our instructor friends that are on here, you can reach out to Bob and or me or Lynn, and we absolutely can set up a private like webinar for you or whatever, live in your class, during your class, whatever you want. You also can curate a list of your best students and send them directly to us. We do it that way too. And they can just go online and apply. So whatever is easiest for you. I will say, if you reach out to us and let us know, we can always give you back any feedback too. that's needed. So we work with instructors and career counselors all the time. Bob, are you able to put our emails in chat?
I can't find the chat. That's how technical I am. I can't see it on this platform. So
I got it.
you do. Okay, thank you.
Got it.
It's on the bottom of their screens now. So everyone, it's like Bob's email is on the bottom of your screen.
I always like to share my LinkedIn profile as well. Everyone's feel free to connect with all of us too. It's a network thing, so you never know who's going to lead you to what, and feel free to do that. But I definitely recommend everyone. It's a quick application that Martha said if you go through SmoothStack and just apply for that job. It won't take long. It's just uploading a resume too. And just answering a few questions that we kind of want to know anyways. And then I'm reaching out or contacting pretty much everyone. So that's the best way too. But we're always happy to jump in a classroom format and do a webinar and anything like that to students and whatnot. So feel free.
Bob, we had someone, it looked like name. I didn't catch the name. We had someone just mention that they're taking a class that's not over until July, and they wanted to know if that was okay. So the official answer is no, that's not okay. We've never had anyone be successful in our training that was taking a class during training. It really is full-time. And then I'm going to say, however, if we had a side conversation with you about that, then please reach out directly to Bob or myself on email, and we'll talk to you further about it, because maybe if you're further along in the training than other people are, or maybe at certain hours, or maybe your classes during a time, we have to look at our training schedule and where you're at and negotiate that with you individually. But as a general rule of thumb, that's not something that we encourage, just for your success. It looks like beginning training last 2 weeks is training full days, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. So, our talk is running over. I hit extend for 5 minutes. Is that okay, Lynn?
Yeah, that's fine. But after 5 minutes, it will just cut us off.
Okay, I'm used to my microphone being shut off when I'm speaking, so that happens all the time. So the training hours is, we say, I don't know how to explain it, like working hours with flexible time is what we need. And I know that sounds really vague, but I work from home, like I think most of us do right now. I would say 90% of my job is in that, 8:30 to 6:30 kind of, or 6 range. But there are times where I have to do a webinar at night, or, my team can only get together on a random Saturday, or there's an event, or I have to work overtime. So there's things that happen. So in this, you're going to have classes scheduled during day hours, yes, but you may be in a study group or assigned on a project where people can only get together, say Tuesday evenings at 7 p.m. Or, you have to put in some work on the weekend, or whatever happens. So it's like a normal job. Even though you're in training, you're working on projects, you're doing training, you're connecting with employers. So this is definitely employment training. It's not like going to school. So if you think of when you go to school, you get this great schedule in the very beginning that says these are all your class days and that's it. This is like being available for work all day, and you're going to have a calendar of all different meetings and classes and working groups, and that's the best way I can explain it. Hopefully that helps. When is the deadline for so the application deadline? I don't have it in front of me. I think it's like in 2 weeks. Is that right? Is it like April 21st?
I'm not positive on that too. I can check.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you this. We are sitting this Friday and the next 2 Fridays, batches of those that we interviewed to take the assessment. So even though I don't have the application deadline on me now, we're taking applications all the way past the deadline, but we're going to prioritize those that applied before it. So please apply as soon as you can, and we'll make sure we look up that deadline, but it's on the website. How is the 14-day training presented? So it's mostly going to be live lecture, but we do have synchronous and asynchronous elements. How can we prepare for the cyber assessment? Okay, cyber assessment you do not need to prepare for. Technical interview, I am very opinionated on this, so I'll share with you how you can prepare for it. You do 3 things. You pull your resume, you pull the job description of what it is you're applying for, and then you go on NICE, the National Initiative for Cybersecurity Education, and you look up the job that you're applying for and you print that up too. Then you go through with your highlighters and you highlight everything in one color that you've done, everything in another color that you know of, you have theoretical knowledge of, but you have not done, and everything else that you don't know, you leave blank. Then you mentally rehearse answers you can of walking through the steps of explaining what you've done in the past or what you know, and what you don't know, you go to your computer and you look it up. You look it up not so you can lie in the interview and present it like you know it, but you can say it does a lot for us if you can say, tell us about your experience with Golang. Not that we're going to ask you that. And you're like, well, actually, although I've never used Golang, I've done this training course for it, and I know that it is like other languages and this way and that way and this way. Then it shows us that you're well prepared for the interview, and it does a lot. So hopefully that helps. That's Martha's highlighter method for preparing for interviews. How do you pair apprentice with partners? We don't pair anybody. So these are strategic employer partners from WiCyS. They've all donated money to WiCyS. They're in the WiCyS partnership. They've asked for this program, and this is what they want. We do training to get them prepared for their jobs that they have, that they've approved. And you will present your projects to them, and we professionally give you a resume and put you in front of them with your projects. We rehearse it with you. Then they pick who they want. So this is all very much WiCyS employer partner driven. Am I being cut off, Lynn?
Okay. Sorry, I couldn't find the mute button. No, I think you extended it for another 5 minutes.
Talking, but if
this is dangerous. Bob knows you, and I know you, and you're going to extend it for 5 minutes for the next 45 minutes.
I know, Martha. We can take 2 more questions.
Okay.
You pick the best 2.
To take. So then you tell me what 2 to take.
This isn't Bob's first rodeo.
Well, I don't know what questions to take, so you guys tell me.
I can't see the questions, so.
Oh, okay. So if the next apprenticeship program begins May 17th, when can we expect another cybersecurity program start date? So we would anticipate another WiCyS program probably in the works. What would you say, Martha? We'll probably start talking about it in the fall, and then would start anticipating another launch date, right?
Yeah, right now we're just trying to get through our pilot, but we definitely want to have another one for sure. And then, hopefully this will grow. So that sounds good to me.
Good. How do you get a WiCyS chapter started in your local area? So you just reach out to info@wicys.org. That's WICYS.org. And we could go ahead and our support staff will point you in the right direction. It's a very easy process, and you would love having a student chapter in your area. Do you have an anticipated start date for future cohorts? Okay, we covered that. Is there a preference for disabled female veterans?
Yeah, I've actually had a few resumes come through with the 10 preference points, or opting in as being in protected veteran status. Please let us know, absolutely, we extend that. So
great. Mm-hmm. And someone else mentioned that they applied for it, and when would they know if they were selected or not?
We are going through, so hopefully Bob, every time you apply, he's trying to reach out to everyone within 72 hours. So if it's been 3 days and you've applied and you haven't heard from Bob, then go ahead and email Lynn or Smoothstack, and we'll, make sure. I've had a lot of people, LinkedIn me and say, hey, did you get my application? And I'll look you up in our applicant tracking system and let you know. But he'll get back to you, and then he'll schedule you to interview with me.
Great. And this is the last question of the evening. If I have already been working in cybersecurity industry and have some cybersecurity work experience, can I still apply for the apprenticeship program, or should I utilize networking resources to directly apply for employment?
I would say yes and yes. So we've had a few women who've already been working in industry apply, and my first question is like, well, if you're already in industry working, why do you want to do this apprenticeship? And some of them say, I really want to because I want to be around women and be mentored, but I can't take the pay hit, which I totally get. The other response I get is it's worth it because we want remote and we want to be with women and we want to be mentored. So this is worth it to us. So definitely network and apply on your own and apply to us. Never shut your own doors. Enough people do that for us already. And we would love to be a resource for you.
That's wonderful. Well, Martha, Bob, it's always great being with you. We're together all the time working on this program. But I love being on a webinar with you, and I can't wait to do it again on the 20th. And for those that you have joined us, thank you so much for your interest in the WiCyS Veterans Apprenticeship Program. It's so wonderful for you to already have connected with Bob and Martha and to be working through all the questions that you might have to the program. If you have more questions, we're on LinkedIn. You could also reach out to me, lynn@wicys.org. I can connect you with Martha, Bob, whatever you may need. Any questions you might have, we'll continue to answer those. And welcome to WiCyS, and thank you for joining us this evening. Martha, Bob, do you have anything else to add?
Just thank you very much. Yeah, thanks so much for your time.
Yes, thank you. So we'll be chatting soon. Have a good evening.
Bye.
Bye-bye.